Okay, Mr. Forte, you ready to hop back in?
Yes, sir.
Please.
All right, Mr. Tibble, you can come up.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are turning now to case 19 SC 167268. It's State versus Thibodeau. Did I pronounce that correctly? So you'll need to answer out loud so the court reporter can take it down.
All right.
All right. Mr. Thibodeau, you are charged with aggravated assault. It's my understanding that the state is going to agree to reduce that to simple assault, and you're here to enter a plea to that reduced misdemeanor charge. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Hall will put you under oath in just a moment. Once you're under oath, you'll need to answer all of her questions and mine truthfully and completely. If you have any questions of your own, it's important we get those answered, but I won't know that you have any questions unless you let Ms. Patel or me know, and then we will do what we can to answer them. Will you let me know if you've got any questions? Great. Are you with misdemeanor probation?
Yeah.
Great. The young lady seated to your left is joining misdemeanor probation, and I suspect the gentleman standing at the podium will be joining misdemeanor probation in just a little bit.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're leaving?
No, she just said pick up a case, so I didn't bring nothing down to sign about it.
Oh, I'm sorry, we weren't clear. So we've got two folks to sign up, and I don't know when you say case what you need. We do have those forms.
Yeah. Okay. I'm really my phone. I'm ready.
Great. Sorry, that was misdemeanor probation. All right, Ms. Hall.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Thibodeau, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you should give in the matter currently before this court should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You may go ahead. Please state your true, correct, and legal name.
Michael Quentin Thibodeau.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medicine?
No.
Is there any medication that you normally take that you have not been given today?
No.
How old are you and how far have you gone in school?
47, 12th grade.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes.
Do you understand that you've been charged with aggravated assault, being amended and reduced by the state to simple assault, OCGA 16-520B?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to plead either guilty or not guilty to that charge? And if you plead not guilty or remain silent, you may receive a jury trial?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with your lawyer, Ms. Patel, about all the facts and circumstances known to you regarding the charges in this indictment, including any potential defenses?
Yes.
Do you need more time to discuss this case with your attorney?
No.
Are you satisfied with her services?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you two documents. The first document being the waiver of rights form. Sorry. The first document being the waiver of rights form. Have you had enough time to review this document with your attorney?
Yes.
Do you understand the rights that you're giving up by taking a plea today?
Yes.
Is that indicated by your signature on this document?
Correct.
Thank you. The next document that I'm showing you is the indictment. Have you had time to review this document with your attorney?
Yes.
Do you understand the misdemeanor charge that the state is moving forward with against you?
Yes.
Is that indicated by your signature on this indictment?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Patel, have you reviewed both of these documents with your client?
Yes.
Is it your understanding that your client understands the rights that he's given up by taking a plea today?
Yes.
And is that indicated by your signature on both of these documents?
Yes.
Thank you. Your Honor, may I approach with the waiver of rights and indictment?
Bet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counsel, do you waive for a reading of the indictment?
So waived.
Do you waive any and all defects in the indictment, including with respect to the defendant's name?
Wait for the purposes of this plea only.
Mr. Thibodeau, have you been arrested on these charges?
Yes.
I ask because the state is unaware of any other warrants that are connected to these charges. Do you or your attorney know of any outstanding warrants that are connected to these charges?
No.
Thank you. Has your attorney advised you of the minimum and maximum sentence to the charge that you're pleading to?
Yes.
The maximum sentence for simple assault is 12 months to serve. Do you understand that this is a negotiated plea of guilty, which means that the state will recommend a sentence of 12 months probation? But the
Yes.
court, oh, sorry. But the court does not have to accept their recommendation. The court can sentence you to the maximum on that charge, which is the 12 months to serve. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you understand this is a guilty plea, which is permanently recorded on your criminal history?
Yes.
Do you understand that if this plea may be used to enhance sentencing on other convictions in this jurisdiction as well as other jurisdictions, including the federal courts?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're placed on probation of any kind, you cannot violate any criminal laws of any governmental unit or any special conditions of probation without being subject to revocation for the balance of the sentence?
Yes.
Do you understand that you're not allowed to possess or use a firearm while on probation?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're not a United States citizen, a guilty plea conviction will affect your immigration status and will result in deportation, just as a conviction at trial would, and this is true regardless of any advice by your attorney or anyone else?
Yes.
Do you understand that you waive any and all defenses, including any mental health defenses, by entering a plea of guilty?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you went to trial, you have the right to a trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and confront witnesses called to testify against you, and the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you're giving up the following rights: the right to a trial by jury, the right to remain silent and not incriminate yourself, the right to confront witnesses against you, the right to the assistance of counsel hired by you or to court-appointed counsel, the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to testify on your own behalf and to present other evidence, the right to subpoena witnesses and compel the production of evidence, the right to have the charges against you proved beyond a reasonable doubt, and the right to appeal if convicted of these charges after a trial.
Yes.
Has anyone forced, threatened, or promised you anything to get you to enter a guilty plea?
No.
Is it your decision to waive these rights and enter a guilty plea because you're in fact guilty?
Yes.
In indictment number 19SC 167268, how do you plead to the single charge of simple assault?
Guilty.
Is this guilty plea freely and voluntarily given with full knowledge of the charge against you?
Yes.
Do you understand that you only have a limited right to appeal this guilty plea conviction?
Yes.
Do you understand that you only have 12 months from today for a misdemeanor charge to file a habeas corpus petition challenging the voluntariness of this guilty plea? Thank you. Your Honor, the state is aware of one prior felony conviction by this defendant. It was an aggravated battery in Illinois back in 1999. No other felony conviction that we were able to locate. And if this case had moved forward to trial, the state would have proven that on October the 19th, 2018, at 4498 Fulton Industrial Boulevard in Fulton County, Georgia, officers responded to that location in reference to a dispute. The victim, Mr. Herman Hill, Hill, had been in a verbal altercation with the defendant about property of the defendants. The defendant cut the victim with a box cutter on his left arm. The victim stated that he had gotten too close to the defendant. The defendant cut him with this box cutter. To just give you more information, since I've spoken with the victim, apparently there was a dispute between some type of property of the defendant. And when he was asking the victim about the property, there was an argument that ensued, and the defendant walked away from the situation, and the victim continued to follow him, and he turned around and cut him with a box cutter. I've spoken with the victim, and it's my understanding at the time both of these individuals were homeless. The victim is still homeless, but his injuries were not significant. He says he does not know the defendant. That was his first time even encountering him. He just said that he was walking and he encountered him. He told him they don't have a friendship, that he's never seen him before. He doesn't feel scared of him because he don't think he'll see him anymore. I've been in constant conversation with Ms. Patel about this case. The reason why the state has decided to reduce these charges, originally, the defendant, he was out on bond and he started to get help through Georgia Works. And he was, beginning of COVID, he was almost done with that program. And so we didn't want to continue to punish him after completing that program, in which it was helping him apparently with medication or something. But the condition was when he got out, he was gonna move back to Texas and live with his aunt, who was gonna give him further help. So that was something that the state felt was a good resolution, but through the program of Georgia Works, apparently they're getting him a really good job, that are obviously helping this whole situation. So we reconsidered, I spoke with Ms. McCauley, and we've decided to continue to reduce the charges, but allow him to continue to stay in Forsyth County, especially with the job coming and the stability. So that is all from the state.
Do you know, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Do you know what is at that address on Fulton Industrial?
It didn't say in the police report, it didn't indicate, it actually is a cross street, and I'm sorry I left that out. It is, the cross street is Commerce, Commerce, Circle Southwest. And so it happened at the intersection of that location. It wasn't at a specific, they were walking, so it wasn't at a specific location. I think the officers were able to locate, that was the nearest thing to where they were called out.
Okay. All right. I think I follow all that. Ms. Crawford, do you have any Georgia criminal history for Mr. Thibodeau?
No record found on Mr. Thibodeau in Georgia, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Patel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Before you is Mr. Thibodeau. He's originally from Texas. He was actually one of the evacuees. I believe it was Hurricane Harvey that had come in 2018. And so when Mr. Thibodeau had evacuated, he came to Atlanta. He intended to get a job to try to stay on his feet, but ultimately ended up homeless. A lot of this was a result of the fact that his mother had passed away and he was dealing with coping with that. He does have a loving and supportive extended family in Texas that I've communicated with fairly regularly. When I first met Mr. Thibodeau, as Ms. Hall said, the plan was going to be to see if we could just get him back to Texas into a program there. We don't have resources or connections in Texas, and the family could not find anything as good as Georgia Works that work to help individuals stay on medication, provide counseling, also help with transitional housing and employment. And so Ms. Iqbal and I, at the time, the prosecutor, agreed to have him sent to Georgia Works while he was out on bond. Since then, he's made significant strides. They love him there. He's expected to graduate soon. The job that he's working part-time at intends to hire him full-time. And so Ms. Hall agreed that, there's no reason to send him to Texas at this point, especially if it'll be a step back for him in his life. And his family actually thinks that it's better for him to stay here because he's found stability. And so we're asking that you accept this plea as negotiated.
Okay. Mr. Thibodeau, I have a few questions. So you're from the Houston area originally,
Yes, sir.
and you still have family there.
Still have family there.
What's the Illinois connection?
I was there because I had a family there and decided just to come back home.
Okay, so somewhere in Illinois, you have relatives. In the Houston area, you have relatives. Any family here in Georgia?
Yeah, but I don't talk to them.
You're not close with them?
We're second cousins, but we don't talk.
Okay. But it's not a hostility thing, it's just I don't know these people.
Yeah, we just don't talk. Really.
Okay. Tell me what you're doing at Georgia Works.
Right now, I'm a weed eater at Westview Cemetery.
Okay. And is that what may become the full-time job or
Yes, sir.
at Westview?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's a big cemetery.
Yeah, it's big.
There's a lot of weed eating.
Yes.
Okay. And is that a position you got through your time with Georgia Works?
Yes.
Great. I don't know, I'm very familiar with Georgia Works and impressed with what they do. While you are with them, do you get paid for the work
Yes.
you're doing?
Yes.
Okay, obviously when you're done with that program, but you're at Westview, you'll get paid for it. Is that a full-time position?
Yes.
Okay. And did Georgia Works provide training or equipment, or what did they do to get you that job?
No, they just talk to them. They have some kind of contract with them, and they said I would be a good candidate. So
Okay.
something like that.
And have you been a good candidate?
Yeah, I'm still there
Excellent. Okay. Well, good. Where are you staying?
at Georgia Works right now.
Okay. They provide housing.
Yes,
When does that end?
as soon as I get this job.
If you get the job, does it pay enough that you'll be able to find your own place?
Yes,
When do you hope to get the job?
in about 2 to 3 months.
Okay, so Georgia Works will keep you on until Westview says we're gonna make Mr. Thibodeau a full-time offer.
Yes, sir.
So you'll have a place to live, and then you'll transition to a place you find that you can pay for because you'll be full-time with Westview.
Yes, sir.
That's not a bad plan. Okay. How long have you been doing the Georgia Works program?
Since December 17th of 19.
Okay. So 6 months today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Well, I appreciate you taking advantage of that. It's a great opportunity. Sometimes folks get in there and they get sideways with folks and they're not interested in putting in the effort, but you seem to have been taking it real seriously. When you were back in the Houston area, were you working?
Yeah, I was working there.
What kind of work?
Warehouse. I was machine operator there.
Mr. Hill, stranger, acquaintance?
Stranger, just happened to, when you're out there in that area, you kind of see people face, off or whatever. And I know him, but I don't know him.
Okay, you'd recognize him if he walked in,
Right,
but you guys don't go way back.
right.
Any reason why you need to be on Fulton Industrial nowadays?
No,
Okay, so if I include as a condition of your probation that you stay away from Mr. Hill, that's gonna be an obvious one, but I think you want that anyway. But also that you stay off of Fulton Industrial, that's not gonna make it difficult to get to work or get to home. It would not?
no, I don't mean no.
Okay, all right, I think I'll do that just to keep things simpler. Okay. Well, Mr. Thibodeau, I find there's a factual basis for your plea. It sounds like you and Mr. Hill got into an argument and it ended in a way that wasn't purely verbal. Sounds like Mr. Hill is okay, which is good, and you're okay, which is also good. Your plea is knowing and voluntary. Knowing means you've understood all the things Ms. Hall talked to you about. Is that true?
Yes,
And voluntary means, even though you're not thrilled to be here, you've decided that this is the right way forward for you and you're entering this plea because it's how you want to resolve it. Is that correct?
yes, I want to resolve.
Okay, it's resolved. I'm accepting your plea to the reduced charge of simple assault. I will sentence you to 12 months probation. I will waive your probation reporting fees for the first 3 months. And that should coincide about with when you become full-time. Probation reporting fees aren't $10,000 or anything like that. You'll be able to afford them, but I'll wait till you're full-time or close enough. So I'm waiving the fees for the first 3 months. It will be a special condition of your probation that you stay away from Mr. Hill and that you stay away from Fulton Industrial Boulevard. If you drive across it because you have to get somewhere, that's fine. But if you are found walking up and down Fulton Industrial, staying at a place there, eating there, that would be a problem. That would be a violation of your probation. That's your old place. You don't need to be there anymore. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Ms. Hall, anything else for Mr. Thibodeau?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
And there's no medical bill restitution in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Patel, anything else for Mr. Thibodeau?
Nothing from the defense.
I wish you the best, Mr. Thibodeau. You have landed smartly on your feet through Georgia Works. And if Georgia or the metro Atlanta area is going to be home for the foreseeable future, good luck with that. If it's back in Houston, hopefully you can get back to warehousing or who knows what. But I hope that you put this behind you and look for better things in the future.
Yes, sir.
You need to stick around. There's a woman about to come through the door who is with misdemeanor probation, and she and you and Ms. Patel can talk about a little bit of paperwork you need to fill out.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is your other person. Now, Mr. Hendricks is not going to be misdemeanor probation?
No, Your Honor, felony probation.
Okay, great. So our final position for this morning is 10:30. If he gets here a little early, we'll get started a little early. I'm gonna pause the YouTube feed, but otherwise folks can sit tight. Thanks.